Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Your 38th favorite dad in the family community, Papa West, Jacob West, back with another episode of TMG Takes the Field. It has been way too long. I believe my last episode was my March Madness special. I might have done one right after the March Madness special where I talked about the first round and have not done one since. Why, you may ask? I'm not going to get into it. Let's just say Papa's been busy. Let's just say Papa has had some other stuff on his plate. But it does not matter. Papa's in a good mood today. Papa decided to bring back TMG Takes the Field. Why am I in a good mood today, you might ask? It might be a conversation for a different day. I will say one reason, and that is to go subscribe to Full Metal Trivia, because there was a Full Metal Random that just came out earlier today that I played in about one of the greatest TV shows of all time. I will not spoil how I did. I will not spoil what it was about. All I'm going to say is it was fun, and it let me relive some stuff, relive some memories of watching a TV show while I did stuff. I won't say illegal activities that I've done in the past, like driving to work. I won't say that. But there are plenty of reasons Papa's in a good mood today. My Full Metal Random match in a great TV show definitely has something to do about it. Not the only thing. Good day at work. Good day with personal life. Just good day in general. So I felt, what better way to celebrate this good day than to talk about sports? I have little Sean here. I don't know what all I'm going to talk about because I literally just decided to do this 5 minutes ago. But I know I'm going to talk about the NBA for a little bit. NBA, we're going through the offseason. I believe the Warriors won the NBA Finals. That's right. I did an NBA Finals or an NBA playoff special where I thought, I believe it was the Celtics were going to beat the Mavericks, or maybe the Grizzlies. I really don't remember. The Celtics made it. The Celtics lost, however, to the Warriors. I believe the Warriors won in 6. I believe Steph Curry won Finals MVP. Third time the Warriors have won the NBA Finals in the past 10 years. First time he has been the MVP. Steph Curry, congratulations. I really hope he won MVP, because if he didn't, and I just said that, that would be bad. But there has been kind of some news. I believe it was last week LeBron James did sign a 2-year extension worth $97.1 million to stay with the Lakers. So we'll see him for a little bit longer in LA. He might decide to quit on his team like he's done before, and just play for another team. We definitely know what his end goal is, and that is to play with his son Bronny. Because why wouldn't you? I don't think we've ever seen an NBA player play with their child. I think that would be a lot of fun. We'll see if it happens. I'm pretty sure it definitely will happen, but that is definitely his end goal. So we have to wait until we get there. Other breaking news, the Nets and Kevin Durant have agreed to move forward together. Kevin Durant is going to stay a Net. There was a lot of speculation, and at the end of the season, both Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, and if they were going to stay with the team or move somewhere else. I'm not going to lie to you, I have no idea what's going on with Kyrie Irving. I just know this happened today. Kevin Durant is staying with the Brooklyn Nets. Now we're going to move on to MLB. We had the trade deadline pretty recently. No, I will not talk about every single trade that happened. I'm not even going to talk about like the big trades, because that was a while ago, and I cannot find a good list. I also didn't really put in the effort to look for a list of all the major trades. Pretty much big news, though. Fernando Tatis had a suspension for illegal substances, performance-enhancing drugs. I don't remember exactly how long the suspension is for, but he did offer an apology today. And he is set to have shoulder surgery. No time frame yet as far as how long that will be. But I did kind of want to break down kind of how the season's going. I'm kind of a Yankee fan. The Yankees have lost, or have won, I should say it correctly, 3 of their last 15 games. That's a huge slide down. That being said, they're still in first of the AL East. They're at 75-48. Tampa Bay 8 games behind at 66-55. Toronto at 65-55. Baltimore 63-55, and Boston at 16-62. So Yankees have had a horrible past couple weeks. It's okay. They had enough of a buffer. Hopefully they can break that slide and start winning some games. Giancarlo Stanton is set to make his return very soon. So hopefully that gives them some extra hit power to be able to score some runs and win some games. As far as the AL Central goes, the Cleveland Guardians are in the lead at 64-56. This one's a lot closer, though. The Minnesota Twins, 62-58, and the Chicago White Sox, 62-60. So that's still a very, very close division. The AL West, Houston currently in the lead at 78-45, and they have a really good lead. Seattle is 11 and a half games back at 66-56. Texas Rangers are in third place, 21 and a half games back at 56-66. So that's a very good lead for Houston. It's going to be hard for them to lose that lead and end up not winning the division. Still a lot of baseball left. Anything could happen, but it is looking like Houston is going to win that, especially because they haven't lost 12 of their last 15 games. Now, as far as the National League goes, the NL East, the Mets are at 79-45. 2.5 games back are the Braves at 77-48. The Philadelphia Phillies kind of still in it at 67-55. The Central, Seattle is in the lead at 70-52. Milwaukee in second, 4.5 games back at 65-56. The Cubs are 17 games back at 53-69. In the West, which was a great division last year, you had San Francisco and the Dodgers neck and neck up until the end of the season. That's not the case this year. The Dodgers are at 84-37, 17 and a half games back. The San Diego Padres at 68-56. San Francisco is at 60-61, 24 games back. Still quite a bit away. Can they do it? No, I don't think they can. So that's what I have to say about that. As far as the NFL goes, we have had a lot of news in the NFL. Don't worry, I will not talk about all of it. I did kind of want to have today's episode be my way too early predictions. So I'll predict NFL, and I'll also predict some college stuff. Definitely not going to be able to, or definitely not going to be right on any of them, but hey, it's always fun. Biggest thing that I really want to talk about is Tom Brady. Because screw you, Tom Brady. No, Tom Brady, of course, during the offseason, came out that he was retiring, and I had a great speech about my thoughts on Tom Brady. And I was done with the guy, finally. And then 2 weeks later, he decided he wasn't going to retire. So that means I have to take back what I said and hold on to those feelings and hide them over this huge sheet of hatred that I have for the man. He did, Tom Brady did step away from training camp for some personal reasons. Nothing exactly was said. I know there was a lot of speculation. The biggest one was that he was on The Masked Singer. I have not been following The Masked Singer, so I could not tell you if that was the case. All I know is he has returned. So I haven't followed Masked Singer, so I couldn't tell you if that's exactly what was going on or if there was just some pre-planned activities he wanted to be a part of. I don't know. A lot of speculation going around. All we're going to say is Tom Brady's back. Woo! I hope you get injured. We are in the middle of preseason right now. Fun fact, preseason games don't really matter. Biggest thing is some injuries happen. Some people don't have starting jobs and so need to prove themselves to get starting jobs. Other starting jobs are already given before training camp, or before training camp even starts, before preseason starts. biggest news as far as starting quarterbacks go, um, the Carolina Panthers have named Baker Mayfield their new starting quarterback. So he will suit up as the starter week 1 as they take on the Browns. And speaking of the Browns, they, of course, traded for Deshaun Watson right after the draft. Or no, it was before the draft. They traded for Deshaun Watson. There was a lot of speculation as far as his suspension would go. I believe he was given a 6-game suspension. Not a huge suspension. The NFL did appeal it. It is now an 11-game suspension, which means he will be returning, I believe it is week 13, as the Browns take on the Houston Texans. I'm assuming they did that on purpose. That would make a lot of sense. But with that being said, not a ton of news as far as NFL goes, but we'll definitely be following as the season goes. I was going to kind of give some predictions as far as every division goes. I'm, if I can remember, hey, I have a whiteboard right here. I'm going to write down winners. I'm going to write down who I think wild card's going to be. I'll go ahead and predict the Super Bowl. Why not? So we're going to go and start off with the AFC East, which is, of course, the Buffalo Bills, New York Jets, New England Patriots, and Miami Dolphins. I want to say last season it was Buffalo, New England, Miami, and then the Jets is the way that division finished. I do think that the Patriots and the Dolphins are going to switch. Buffalo is definitely going to win. I think they're going to win the division. I do think Miami is going to finish second. New England's going to be very close to Miami, but they are going to finish third. The Jets are going to lose almost every game. Not a great team. Henry, I said it. The Jets suck. AFC North, that, of course, is Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, and Cincinnati. I want to say it was Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, Baltimore, and Cleveland is how it finished. It might have been Cleveland and Baltimore switched. I do think Cincinnati repeats. I do think they win it all. I kind of think that their head coach, Zach Taylor, wins Coach of the Year this year. It's another bold prediction. I do think Pittsburgh will get second. Baltimore right behind Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh's going to have a winning season this year. I think they're going to start Mitch Trubisky. He's probably going to lose the first four games. Then they're going to switch up to Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett is going to ball, but not enough to get them to double-digit wins. I think they'll be like 9-8 this year, but barely getting a winning season. Baltimore just behind. This team was riddled with injuries last year. I definitely don't like what they did in the draft this year, getting rid of Hollywood Brown. But Lamar Jackson is kind of in a contract year. He's been trying to get an extension. He has said that he will not discuss his contract during the season. So I do think it's going to be a prove-it year. I think he's going to have a good stats this year, but I don't think he's going to be able to get wins, which, in the grand scheme of things, is what matters. That being said, Cleveland, I do think that they will lose the division. I did like the fact that they got Deshaun Watson because Deshaun Watson is a good player. Not a great human being, but we're not here for that conversation. However, with them not having him for 11 games, I believe they have Jacoby Brissett as their starting quarterback at the moment, who's not a bad quarterback. He's just I don't see him as starter capability. I think he'll do okay. Maybe get 4 wins while they're there. I'm also not looking at schedules, so I can't give you predictions like that. He'll do okay. He'll keep them close in some games, but not enough to get the win. He'll get some wins in games because he is a decent quarterback. But then once Deshaun comes back, I do think it'll be a little too late. I do think they'll have just a couple injuries. Maybe Nick Chubb gets injured because he is being asked way too much at the beginning of the season. They, of course, are also maybe something happens with Kareem Hunt, who has demanded a trade, whereas the Browns have not given him a trade. maybe something happens there too, where they lose out on their dual threat running back room that they've had. So I do think Browns going to be the Browns. AFC South, you have the Houston Texans, Tennessee Titans, Indianapolis Colts, and Jacksonville Jaguars. I think the Titans are going to win it. My dad's going to watch this. He's going to call me up. It's like the Colts have one of the best offensive players in Jonathan Taylor, and they just got an upgrade at quarterback with Matt Ryan. Dad, no, they did not get an upgrade at quarterback with Matt Ryan. They got a washed-up choker. There, I said it, guys. I love Carson Wentz. He was my quarterback for several seasons in Philadelphia. Got us to the number 1 seed the year we won the Super Bowl. Scored a touchdown on a torn ACL and has not played well since. He was with the team, yes, with a great offensive line and a great running back. He did not have great tight ends. Jack Doyle, great tight end, I will say, but not good at catching. Is more of like a blocking tight end and just a good locker room leader. Mo Alley Cox, not a great tight end. Michael Pittman was like their only good receiver. They definitely could have had better weapons around him. Matt Ryan is just an old, washed-up quarterback. I do not think that that's going to be an upgrade by any sense of the imagination. But I do think the Titans are going to win it. I think Jacksonville is going to get second. I love Doug Peterson. Coached the Eagles to a Super Bowl win. Eagles my favorite team. That's why the logo is kind of a dark green, like the Eagles. It's actually more Jets, which kind of makes me upset that I just said that, but who cares? So this is definitely going to be I do think can be a great team. This is not going to be the year that they are great, but I definitely think that they're going to have a tremendous step up. They did draft Travis Etienne at running back last year, who tore his ACL and missed the entire season. Travis Etienne, of course, a Clemson running back with their star quarterback that they also drafted in Trevor Lawrence. So they're definitely going to have that upgraded weapon. They've also picked up quite a bit of receivers. So I definitely think they have an offensive-minded head coach. They're going to have a much better offense this year. So definitely don't be surprised if this team wins 9-10 games. They could do it. And I realize I'm crazy right now, but it's way too early predictions. So who really cares what I say? I do think Indianapolis is going to have a losing season this season. I also hate to say it. I love Frank Reich. He was an offensive coordinator for Philadelphia when we won the Super Bowl. I do think he is going to be let go after the season because this will be his second season where he has had a lot of hype around his team and just has not been able to succeed. It's nothing against him. It's everything with he just does not have a general manager who trusts his quarterback and keeps a good quarterback for him because they just got rid of Carson Wentz and also won't give him a good wide receiver room. And then Houston is Houston. Houston is probably going to be in last place this year. They might go 2-15. They might win 2 games, including a game against the Colts. And then we have the AFC West, the Las Vegas Raiders, the Denver Broncos, Kansas City Chiefs, and Los Angeles Chargers. This is going to be a really fun one because y'all are going to go crazy when I say this. The winner of the AFC West, I misspelled it because I'm writing on my board right now. I'm not even going to show my board, so I don't know why I did that kind of anticipation. The Las Vegas Raiders are going to win the AFC West. I said it. I love the Devontae Adams pickup. I just lost my one viewer after that comment. Of course I did. I love the Devontae Adams pickup. I love Josh Jacobs as a running back. This team was very good last year. This team had a couple very close losses. This team could have done a lot better than they actually did, and they made the playoffs last year. Like, this was a playoff winning team. If you look at all the drama that happened this year, and all the controversy that happened with their head coach, they fired their head coach. They had an interim head coach, and they still made it to the playoffs. That does not happen, um, because coaches are very important. That proves this is a great team. Um, that being said, I think they win by one game, 2 games. This is going to be that division that is decided in week 18, because second place, losing one too many games, is going to be the Kansas City Chiefs. The Tyreek Hill loss is massive. I don't think people are talking about that as much, because they did pick up, I believe his name's Sky Moore, wide receiver, in the draft, which good pickup, but does not replace Tyreek Hill. I do love Patrick Mahomes. I do think he is the best quarterback playing right now. But one reason he is so good is his arm strength. All he has to do is just throw the ball farther than anybody is, and Tyreek will run to get it. The defense has also taken a little step down, with losing Tyrann Mathieu. They did not address that like they should have. It's also the reason they didn't do well last year, because they didn't have that strong of a defense. So I do think the Kansas City Chiefs barely lose the division. Definitely gonna make the wild card though. I do think it's going to be the Broncos and then the Chargers. Broncos, great pickup with Russell Westbrook. Definitely can't deny that picking up Russell Westbrook is a great pickup. I'm a little upset that they got rid of Noah Fant to get him. They do have great receivers around, but you do kind of need that middle threat option. That I don't think they followed up with the draft. I also don't like that they haven't really addressed their defense. The reason they won Super Bowl 50 is because of that tough defense, and they really have not been the same defensively. They've been okay. They've had a really good defense, but nowhere near what it was. And that being said, the Chargers are going to be in last place. I definitely think up until like week 13, week 14, all 4 teams are going to be in the race to win it all. I do think the Chargers don't have enough juice in the tank to make it all the way. You will start seeing a skid. They will lose the last 4 games in a row. That I think will actually take them out of wild card. The wild card race. So there are my 4 winners: Buffalo, Cincinnati, Tennessee, and the Raiders. As far as wild cards go, I have already have shown my cards. I do think Kansas City is going to win the first wild card. As far as the second one goes, because I do think that Jacksonville will be able to. I think they're going to have a good year this year. I think that they just do enough to get into that second wild card spot, kind of shock the world. I don't think they'll make it far in the playoffs this year. But I definitely think that they have a little bit easier of a schedule than some other teams, namely the team that is going to be 4th, or that's going to get the last wild card spot. So I think they do just enough. The team that gets the last wild card spot, I think, is going to be the Denver Broncos. Again, I think it's going to be between them, Pittsburgh, and the Chargers. I think it's going to be neck and neck for this final spot. I do think Denver just barely nudges out to win it all. So they're my AFC playoff teams: Buffalo, Cincinnati, Tennessee, the Raiders, Chiefs, Jacksonville, and Denver. Why I say some of the mascots and randomly change to the cities, I don't know. It's just what I do. Now we're going to go to the NFC. I'm going to save one division for last. You probably know which one. We're going to go with the NFC North. The Chicago Bears, Green Bay Packers, Detroit Lions, and Minnesota Vikings. I do think Green Bay wins it. They've won, I think, the last 3 in a row, maybe last 4 in a row. Aaron Rodgers, two seasons straight MVP. Also founder of the Aaron Rodgers Book Club, where 2 of the books in the book club were The Four Agreements and The Alchemist, which I read this year. That's right, I read 2 books this year. Trying to get 5. I have 3 more. Starting one tonight. Which one? I don't know. I'll start one tonight. Definitely losing Devontae Adams is going to hurt. How does that not hurt? But I do think that he is able to will that team into some wins. Watch for Jordan Love to play receiver for at least a couple plays. Watch for like some sort of to try to spark some offense. Also, watch for this team at come trade deadline because I definitely see this team, the Packers, probably being like third, second place in the division at the time of the trade deadline, struggling on offense, needing a weapon at receiver, and making some moves to get a receiver. I do think that will happen this year. The team that is going to be in second place will get very close to winning is going to be the Minnesota Vikings, followed by Detroit, the Lions, huge step up from last year. And then the Chicago Bears are going to lose or be fourth place in the division. They aren't really division losers, although it's everybody but the winner. The NFC South, we have the Atlanta Falcons, Carolina Panthers, New Orleans Saints, and Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I do think the Bucs are going to win. I hate to say that because you know my feelings on their quarterback, but they picked up Julio Jones this offseason. I also believe they picked up Kyle Rudolph. That offense is scary. They, for like 3 years, really haven't lost many players, which is scary. I definitely think we're going to start seeing Tom Brady not play at his higher level. I realize we've been saying this for 12 years now. We'll say it until he actually retires and stays retired. That's proper English. Because it's bound to happen eventually, right? It has to happen eventually. However, he still has a good enough team that even when he's not playing his best, they'll still do well. They'll still have some great wins, some great games. They'll probably finish like third in the entire NFC. But I do think that they will win the NFC South. Saints right behind, though. Jameis Winston coming back from, I believe it was an ACL tear. Michael Thomas might be coming back. Do we really know what's going on with him? Not really. Carolina, I do like that they have named Baker their starter. I do think they'll get third. I think they'll get like 7 or 8 wins. I think they're going to be kind of scary at the beginning of the year, towards the middle of the year, kind of like last year, come to think of it. And then they'll play spoiler for a couple games towards the end of the year. And then the Atlanta Falcons, I do think, are going to lose the division. Kevin, I'm sorry. This, of course, Kevin Poss, one of my really good friends, not Kevin, my father. 2 different men, same name. Kevin Poss is a Falcons fan, for those who don't know. My father, Kevin, is a Colts fan. So that's another way to differentiate them. But yeah, the Falcons, say what you want about Marcus Mariota and how that's going to be a great pickup. He's been a backup. He hasn't been playing for a while. He really was never great whenever he was the starter for Tennessee. I don't think it's a horrible pickup, but Desmond Ridder will be starting by the end of the year. Also, you have no receivers. I think they picked someone up in the draft. I really don't remember, though. As far as the NFC West goes, we have the 49ers, Cardinals, Rams, and Seahawks. I do think the Rams are going to repeat and win the division because they're a good team. There we go. Bruce Boyd, they did pick up Drake London. Thank you for being there for me. Okay. Who's going to throw the ball to him? Mariota's not that good. You picked up Drake London. You have 1 receiver. Great. And we don't really know how good he is. college receivers do not always do well in the NFL. It does happen. Um, NFC West, I do think that the Rams are going to win the division again. I do not think they will win the Super Bowl. Um, maybe I might say something else later on in this episode. We do not know. But the Rams, I do think are going to win it all. I do think it will be Arizona in second and San Francisco in third, which is exactly how it finished last year. The Seahawks are rebuilding this year, so they're going to do better than the Texans, but not by much. And then this leaves the NFC East. Of course, my favorite team, the Eagles. You also have the Giants, Dallas Cowboys, and Washington Commanders. No longer the football team and no longer the racial slur. Um, they have a new name. They are the Commanders, the Commies, as some people like to say. You know who I think is going to win this division. You know that I think the Eagles are going to win the division. You know, I think the Eagles are going to go far. And all three teams are going to just refuse to compete because they're trash. That being said, I do think Dallas will finish second, Washington finish third, and then the Giants are the Giants. That being said, as far as wild cards go, I do think the first wild card is going to go to the Arizona Cardinals. I will say Kyler Murray. There's a lot of controversy with him this offseason. He had a great start to the season last year and then just dropped off uh, in his performance. I like the Hollywood Brown pickup. That was a great trade for the Cardinals, giving him another weapon, giving him a fast receiver. He just drops the ball too much. Hopefully, he can still hold on to it. AJ Green actually did fairly well this year, and DeAndre Hopkins. I do not think they have a good enough team to win the division, but I definitely think that they'll be like 3 games behind Los Angeles. So pretty close, kind of in the rearview mirror the entire way, just not enough to win it all. But they will get the first wild card. Second wild card, I'm gonna say is going to go to the Minnesota Vikings. I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. Kirk Cousins is not a horrible quarterback. He's not a great quarterback, but he's not the worst quarterback in the world. He always does just enough to win. They picked up a new coach who I believe is offensive minded. I could be very wrong in saying that. Dalvin Cook is a great running back. You also have Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson, who should be an Eagle, but whatever. I do really like this offense. I do think that we will see a resurgence from them. I think that they will be in. They will be winning the North up until like week 14, week 15. I do think the Packers, because they have a good enough lead that they kind of start coasting. The Packers are able to come back just towards the end of the season to actually win the division, but don't have a good enough record to beat the Cardinals. I realize I have to course correct myself several times throughout this. And then the third wild card, I want to give to the 49ers, but I cannot give to the 49ers. I think Jimmy Garoppolo is a great quarterback. What they are doing is criminal with this whole going back and forth between him and Trey Lance. They just need to keep Jimmy G. He took them to the NFC Championship last year. He took them to a Super Bowl. But I do think that they are going to trade him finally to Trey Lance, who, spoiler, I don't think is going to be a great quarterback. I think he's going to be average, pretty good, just not enough. I think the 49ers will make the wild card, but I cannot give them the third wild card in this way too early prediction. So I'm going to go ahead and go with the Saints. I just wrote it down. It's canon. So for the NFC, I have the Packers, Buccaneers, Rams, Eagles, Cardinals, Vikings, and Saints. As far as who wins each division and makes it to the Super Bowl, I think it's going to be Pick a team here. We're gonna go with the Buffalo Bills. You know I love Josh Allen. I think he might win MVP this year versus the Eagles because I love the Eagles. Um, way too early predictions. Eagles beat the Bills in the Super Bowl. There, I said it. That was the NFL. Now we're gonna move on to NCAA football. NCAA football starts in like 2 weeks. It might be this next Saturday. I don't remember exactly. But we're going to do the exact same thing. But real quick before I do, September 1st is when college football actually starts. That is a Thursday. I'm going to make my NFL predictions canon by taking a picture of them, not a selfie camera. There we go. All right. There we go. We'll see towards the end of the season how my NFL predictions hold up as far as NCAA football goes. Last year, I predicted the Final Four for the playoffs. I'm not going to do that this year. Although I will say, Cincinnati, way to go, way to make it to the playoffs. So we're just going to go with the major conferences. So we're going to start off with the ACC, the Atlantic Coast Conference, divided up into two regions, divisions. So you have the Atlantic as Boston College, Clemson, Florida State, Louisville, North Carolina State, Syracuse, and Wake Forest. Everything in my heart says Clemson's going to win it. However, they had a really bad year last year because of CJ Uzoma. Maybe he turns it around this year. We'll go with that. Clemson wins the Atlantic. As far as the Coastal goes, we have Duke, Georgia Tech, Miami, North Carolina, Pitt, Virginia, and Virginia Tech. I think North Carolina wins it. Why? I don't know. They're a good school. North Carolina wins it. North Carolina beats Clemson to be the ACC champions. I gotta write this down so that I can take a picture of it later. All right. As far as the Big 12 goes, they have 10 schools, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yep. Baylor, Iowa State, Kansas, Kansas State, Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, Texas Christian, Texas, Texas Tech, and West Virginia. I do like what Texas has done in the offseason. They got Quinn Maddox, I believe his last name is. 5-star recruit who went to Ohio State University, decided to transfer. I do think Texas finishes in first place. Big 12, of course, takes their top two finishers, have them play each other, and then the winner is the Big 12 champion. So I do think it's going to be Texas versus Baylor. I actually think Texas is going to do the unthinkable and win it all. So Big 12, Texas. And you might be saying, well, Papa, you were born in Texas. Of course, you're going to say Texas. False. I hate the University of Texas. Don't hate them, just really don't like them. So there you go. I do think Texas wins it all. I'm pretty sure his name's Quinn Maddox. I could be very wrong. Correct me in the comments if I am wrong. But played for Southside Carroll High School in Carroll, Texas. Great school. They're the Dragons. I don't know if they still do it, but I know they used to require their players to bleach their hair. So it was always intimidating. They'd run out on the field and you just see blonde hair everywhere. I thought it was cool. Also, the Dragons. I really liked Dragons growing up. I was on a soccer team called the Dragons. The more you know, kids. Next, we can go with the Big Ten. This is another one split off into divisions. You have the East, Indiana, Maryland, Michigan State, Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State, and Rutgers. A very interesting one because you had Penn State did very well up until their quarterback got injured. This was Michigan and Ohio State. Do I think that this game is going to be come down to the game when Michigan plays Ohio State. No. I realize that's crazy to say, but I think Ohio State's going to win the Big Ten East because they always win because they have a good team. I do think they'll be like 2 games ahead of Michigan. Michigan might pull out the upset, but it's not going to matter. Ohio State wins in the East. As far as the West goes, you have Illinois, Iowa, Minnesota, Nebraska, Northwestern, Purdue, and Wisconsin. I like Iowa. They have had a scary good team lately. Just always kind of gets right to the end and peters out. This is going to be their year. They win the Big Ten West. They win the Big Ten. Right, you heard it here. Iowa wins the Big Ten. Again, it's not going to happen. It's just predictions. Next, we're going to move on to the Pac-12. Pac-12, it must have changed because used to it was by division. Now it's not by division. Let me see if I can find out why. Just by reading off the names. So the Pac-12, you have Arizona State, Arizona, Cal, Colorado, Oregon, Oregon State, Stanford, UCLA, USC, Utah, Washington, Washington State. Pretty sure those are all the teams. I just wrote on my phone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, that's all the same teams. The only thing I can think of is USC and UCLA are switching over to the Big Ten. I don't know why. Makes no sense in the world, but they're doing it. So I wonder if they're getting rid of the divisions because of that. We're just going to still play it as if there was the split up. So that being said, last year it was Utah and Oregon. I think it'll be between Utah and USC in the South. I think Utah just does barely enough to edge them out. And as far as the North goes, see, I don't remember what teams are in the North. Definitely Oregon, Oregon State, Washington, Washington State. And the basic answer is definitely go with Oregon. But I don't think Oregon's going to do well this year. They're big, and I realized because I was about to say their biggest thing last year was Kayvon Thibodeau, who is in the NFL. Kayvon Thibodeau did not play most of last year. Maybe Oregon does, and we see a repeat, Oregon and Utah, where we see Utah win it all again. I just wrote it down. Utah's going to win the Pac-12. There you go. And then we are going to go to the SEC. Again, I know for a fact after I do this, you have the SEC East, the SEC West. Next year we'll see because they are adding Texas and Oklahoma, or it might be here in the next couple years. So we'll see what that does as far as the divisions go. So you have the East: Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, Missouri, South Carolina, Tennessee, and Vanderbilt. Of course, Georgia won last year. Georgia won the entire thing last year. Georgia also had 11 of their defensive players get drafted. It might not have been. They might have actually had 11 players get drafted, both offense and defense. Mostly defense, though. So this is definitely not going to be the same Georgia team we saw last year. I hate to say that, but it's very true. That being said, I do think Florida wins the East. I do think we finally see them kind of turn around. They've had so many bad years where they just have not been able to succeed. They finally turned that around this year. They win the East. As far as the West goes, this is the most stacked division in all of college divisions. Alabama, Arkansas, Auburn, LSU, Mississippi State, Mississippi, Ole Miss, as some like to say, and Texas A&M University. The basic part of me wants to say Alabama wins it. Bryce Young is a great player. So the basic in me is going to say Alabama wins it all. Alabama goes undefeated this year. Alabama wins it all. I will say, though, I do like Auburn. They're usually always like that kind of secret team. They can definitely come out of nowhere. I don't think Alabama wins the national championship this year. Who wins? I don't know. Do I think it's going to be a one of these teams? I don't think so. And this is what I'm going to say because I have to say somebody. Your national championship winner. I wrote an A instead of an N. I can fix that. Florida. Going to be your national champ. I also wrote champs. National champ. There you go. I fixed it. Florida wins it all. Why? I don't know. Why do I not know? Because it's way too early for any of that. This is Papa's way too early predictions for every NFL and college football. That being said, that's really all I have for you today. Baseball's going on right now. Not watching it, but I'm just letting you know. Just found out the Yankees won. They beat the Mets 4-2. So they are turning it around. They're going to win it all. It's going to be great. I'd love to tell you that we're going to start doing this a lot more regularly in the future. To be fair, I have no idea. For those who do not know, my life is incredibly busy with everything that I do in life. And that's not changing anytime soon. Papa runs 200 miles an hour at all times. Papa's going to continue to run 200 miles an hour at all times for I don't know how long. We'll see. Again, I was just in a really good mood. I thought, why not do this? I'm still in a really good mood. I will try to do this a lot more regular, though. The stuff that I want to talk about, that I like talking about, that I'm actually really familiar with, is coming back, NFL and NCAA football. So I'll have a lot of stuff to talk about. That being said, I do want to start doing something in the future. It might be after the college football season ends. So probably in January. I might do it sooner. We'll see. But I just want to talk about sports in general. I want to do why we love sports. Pretty much, I'm going to talk about myself. I'm going to bring in some friends. We're going to talk about sports, what it's done for us, what are some of our best favorite moments, some of our favorite teams, some of our favorite sports. We're just going to talk about sports. If you're watching this and that sounds like a good idea to you, message me at Jacob US on Facebook. Because if I have nobody who wants to do it, I'm not going to do it. But if I have people who want to do it, I might do it. We'll see. With that being said, thank you so much for watching. If you like this episode, I don't know why. This is the most unprofessional sports talk show ever, but I enjoy doing it. So leave that, click that little thumbs up button. I do actually enjoy that. It does mean a little bit to me. Leave a comment. Tell me who do you think is going to win the national championship this year? And I will block you if you say Alabama. Don't challenge me. Who do you think is going to win the national championship? And name one NFL team that I did not say would win their division that you think will win their division. Do one of the two. I will block you if you say Alabama on that because you have no right in talking. Alabama does not play in the NFL. That being said, please also hit that subscribe button if you have not done so. TMG Entertainment does some great things. Colton Roberts with the Supernova show that he still does, I believe. Not talking about Schmodown anymore as the Schmodown is ending very soon. But you should be talking about the Ring of Power. He might also be talking about House of Dragon. I don't know if if he's a Game of Thrones fan. But that first episode dropped Sunday night, or maybe all day Sunday. I watched it yesterday. Pretty good. I enjoyed it. We'll see how the rest of the series turns out. But the Ring of Power, the new Lord of the Rings TV show that's coming out, I'm ecstatic for that. It looks great. I'm gonna cry when I watch it because I cry at good things. I cried while watching Kenobi 4 times, so I will probably cry while watching The Ring of Power. or it might be horrible, like the Hobbit series was. Amazon, please don't let it be horrible. Please make a good TV show. I can't take it if it's not good. I can't. He's also probably talking about some Marvel stuff. She-Hulk came out. Fun fact: I don't watch Marvel TV shows. I'll watch their movies. I will have hot takes on their movies. Multiverse of Madness was trash, and Thor: Love and Thunder was good. I'm not gonna say great. I enjoyed it. I will say that. I really enjoyed it. Colton Roberts, I don't know what else you're going to talk about. You have yet to invite me, so we'll see. Also, Aaron Knoll does do movie Battleground. If you watch, there's an MCU exhibition which I got to host, which is some of my favorite stuff in the world. I just rewatched my hosting. I kind of skipped through the rest of the debate stuff. I will say Chris Diaz and Shannon Briggs, y'all did awesome. Shannon, of course, might have won that match. He might have lost. We don't know. You need to watch that match. But I had a lot of fun hosting that match. You'll also see me compete, where you might have saw me take on JD Domash. JD, I will say I am sorry for bullying you for an hour and a half, but Chad made it happen. So blame him. You will see me compete not very soon. I don't know when it's going to be, but I have someone coming up. I will not spoil who it is. I'll just say it's not who I want to play, but I'm going to play someone. But no, Aaron does a fantastic job with movie Battlegrounds, so definitely give some of those a watch. And also, that's really it that TMG Entertainment does. I do this occasionally. Aaron's a lot more consistent. Colton's a lot more consistent. We also have a sister channel, TMG Trivia. Kevin, one of my best friends, who lives in Georgia, who's a Falcons fan because he hates himself, is doing a TM Geek Teams tournament with our friend Abel Delu, who's from the Netherlands. So if you like Dutch accents, check out some of those videos. Kevin and I are a team, actually, and we might have just played recently. I won't tell you how we did. We did great, though. But watch that match whenever it comes out. Watch that tournament. There have been some good matches. And then every now and again, I'll put out a singles or teams match. I thought about doing a tournament. I just realized that was going to be too much work. So you live and you learn, right? But anyways, thank you so much for watching. Hit that like button, comment something, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to TMG Trivia. Make smart choices. Be good human beings. Or don't. I'm not your dad. Really don't care. But I could be your